Hello, everybody. Welcome to the special projects presentation. Today we'll be talking about what's new to the farm, some of the opportunities students had with hands-on talking to employees, and some of the new equipment we would want to upgrade this year. I'm Lana Couture, and I'm from Debden, Saskatchewan, and I was part of the research team.
My name is Blair Chesterman. I'm from Edgerton, Alberta, and I was on the marketing team.
My name's Sam Marchichu. I'm from Hinton, Alberta, and I'm on the analysis team.
I'm Miles Wethridge. I'm from Northern BC, and I was on the production team.
I'm Lane Newell. I'm from Carlisle, Saskatchewan, and I am on the analysis team.
I'm Chris Bradley. I'm from Berryville, Alberta, and I'm also on the analysis team.
I'm Aman from Punjab, India. I'm in the mixed farm team.
My name is Charanpreet Singh. I am from India, Punjab. I am in a research team.
My name is Sukhjinder Singh Brad. I am from Punjab, India, and I'm a member of a team research team.
Okay, so our first special project was the Meridian auger. There was a group of Landon, Gavin, Daniel, and Kelton, all in charge of looking at this Meridian auger. We were looking at a new one for the farm. We went down to where was it? Camrose, Alberta, to look at an auger. And when we got there, we toured the bin making factory that was down there. And after that, we got right down to business and met with Glenn Friesen and Kevin Melissa. And we went through options on a new auger. And we were looking for a new auger, which would be quicker for the farm, would have a mover on it, would have a gas engine on it instead of electric. And we were looking for all these options because our old one was getting wore out and it was an electric auger. So it was, we had to move it slowly, and you had to move it by hand, I guess. It took 2 or 3 of you to move the auger all the time. And in the end result, Meridian ended up sponsoring us a new auger, and they will sponsor us a new auger with a mover and an electric engine every year for years to come. I would just like to thank Meridian for donating this auger to us.
This year, 5 students were selected to create a new vineyard for Lakeland College. This vineyard we've chosen this vineyard to be 500 feet south of the research barn. The reason behind getting a new vineyard for Lakeland College was to improve safety for students, because the old vineyard is high in traffic with all the other SMF teams moving through there. We would like also upgrading the bins to improve management. It'll also increase capacity, that the farm can hold more grain. The last couple of years we've been over capacity and we'd have to sell grain off the combine, and that would cost us to losing money because we would have to send at the price of that time. And it would also provide better exposure to Lakeland College, with the vineyard being closer to Highway 16. Since the spot that we picked is pasture at the moment for Lakeland, we need to do lots of prep work before we could even move the vineyard there. There would need dirt work to be done. We would have to add an approach to get into the vineyard. There would need some leveling to be done. Power, natural gas, and gravel would all need to be brought into this area. The vineyard would be 320 feet by 162 feet, and this will also leave room for if we would upgrade to more bins in later years. At this time, we would only want 2 rows of bins with a total of 16 bins. We would also want constant flow grain dryer of 500 to 600 bushels. The reason behind this is just because the last couple of years we've been taking off grain wet, and we have only been able to do in-bin grain drying. There'd also be a heated shack to keep tools in and the grain moisture in, since the vineyard would not be on the farm, and would stop us from running back and forth between the farm and the new vineyard. As you can see in the bottom left corner is the outline of the vineyard of what we would kind of have planned for it, and also the total price of the vineyard would come to around $658,570. And if you would want more depth into numbers, they'll be in the booklet at hand.
First of all, I'd like to thank New Holland and Webb's for providing us with a new straight cut header this year. It worked phenomenal. So for the old header, it was a 2001 Honeybee 25-foot Draper header, a single knife drive, and it had a CR adapter kit on it. This header hasn't been used on the farm for quite a few years now. So as an SMF team, we decided to sell the header. We went through a tendering process and posted up for sale around the Vermilion area for a couple months. We got 2 offers in our tendering timeline. So we took those 2 offers to the general meeting and had 2 options: to accept the highest bidder or extend the timeline for more offers. We had a vote and we decided on the highest offer and sold the header.
So this year I was part of the soil sampling committee. So this fall, or I guess last fall now, our contract with Farmers Edge had expired. So we were looking into different companies that had offered soil sampling and the services that came with that. So we decided on that we needed to get grid and benchmark composite tests for our flat rate fields and zone composite for our variable rate fields. We also took into consideration all the costs that come with soil sampling, so getting the maps developed and stuff like that. So on the bottom of the screen, we have a map here of LC18. It's an elevation map, which is one of our 3 variable rate fields. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of variation between the field, purple being our highest and yellow and orange being our lowest points in the field. So the hope with getting variable rate down on this field is to prevent lodging and increase profitability. And then so basically we decided to go with Farmers Edge, and we've been very happy with working with them. Service is awesome. They're more than willing to help us on the college, so big thanks to them. We've also been using their Farm Command platform, which is a really good tool for us because it enables us to make good informed decisions when we're making our fertilizer blends and looking at data, like yield data and stuff like that. So from these soil tests that Farmers Edge had done, the production team was able to make decisions on what we need to do for a fertility plan alongside with our SMF agronomist, James. And so this year, the SMF decided to get variable rate, as I had said earlier, which is being done on fields AL01, LC20, and LC18, which I showed the map of. We choose these fields based on the extreme topography, and we're pretty much interested in trying to manage the variability within the field to try to maximize our yield potential and, in the end, profitability. and increase soil health in some of the poorer areas within the field. So when we had decided to do VR, one of our capital requests had been for a New Holland air drill, and it had the full ability to do variable rate and section control. But this request was denied, and so we had to investigate what we could do with our current drill. It does have the ability to do VR, but we are going to have to get some software upgrades. But the main limitation with our current drill is that it doesn't have sectional control, so it would be done in 30-foot increments. And this wouldn't allow us to capture the full potential of variable rate prescriptions. But right now we're currently doing a cost analysis to see if it's a viable option.
These are the New Holland seeding speed trials. So first, a big thank you to CNH agronomist David Hansen and to Crop Pro, as they were instrumental to getting this trial done. David was there with us for the combining when we used the weigh wagon, and Crop Pro helped with the data collection as well as with data analysis. So a P2082 drill was used on LC18, which is the map here. It helped in decision on what air drill we would propose to purchase, which is coming up next in our presentation. So our trials were done at 6, 7, 8, and 9 miles per hour. So at 6 miles an hour, our yield was 44.5 bushels. At 7, it was 49.5. 8, it was back down to 46, and at 9, it was 46.5. We had adequate moisture at seeding, good conditions throughout the growing season. These results are more experimental than anything. They're good to use for research purposes. They were done on a small scale, so the results from this can be interpreted differently. New Holland air drill. So we made our final payment in spring 2019 to buy the drill outright. The reason for this is the balloon payment was less than the resale value of the drill. After considering it being presented a few different options by Dan Webb, we came to the conclusion as a committee to make a proposal to lease a 40-foot P2082 disc drill, double shoot with the P4460 air chart, capacity 460 bushels and 4 tanks. This allows us to seed up to 3 miles an hour faster while having accurate fertilizer and seed placement. Tank has a 4th compartment to help with the seeding of canola. The sectional control capability of the cart would be especially valuable in our variable rate areas. This will allow for longer seeding times and less downtime waiting on fertilizer fills as well.
So a big reason on the upgrading of drill was due to that we want to use our variable rates with our result for soil sampling, partially due to getting bigger in acres in next few years. So looking to increase efficiency in any areas we can. The variable rate on this drill would have been split up into 4 10-foot sections compared to our current drill that is capable. The other reason is that it will help us to get in touch with new and advanced technology which benefit to college. This drill would have been 40 feet compared to current 33 feet and being able to seed at higher speed. We would be able to seed more acres in a day, tightening up our seeding window. At the end of the day, the request was passed on for this year. However, the door isn't closed on getting a new drill.
So the capital request team is responsible for looking into different assets on the farm for SMF. And these are just one of the assets that we looked into this year. So heavy harrow options, there was 2, the pillar heavy harrows, which ranged of a cost of $70,000, and the Elmar heavy harrows, which ranged to $60,000. That came down for pillar up to $72.92 an acre, and for the Elmar, $62.50 an acre. Both are very good for the advancement in technology on the farm and just looking at improvement for time and field management rather than renting a set of harrows with the cost of $2.45 an acre.
So here with is some benefits and drawback of purchasing heavy harrow. Heavy harrow, their aggressive action can provide excellent straw spread as well as good mixing of the surface layer of the soil. It also helps for time management, equipment efficiency because it covers the several portion of a land in a one pass, and it helps to prevent the drying in a seed row. It also give an opportunity to student to learn or gain knowledge of different piece of equipment on the farm. So on the other side, have some drawbacks of purchasing a heavy harrow. About the cost of this equipment is $70,000, and most of the money we spend on a fuel, maintaining, repairing, and storing. It also create a problem of residue blockage because if conditions are not ideal, like dry or windy, heavy harrow may cause straw bunching and not spread it well. In the past, college has rented the heavy harrow of 70 feet is $2.45 per acre. It is too expensive to use every time. So we think the more rather than more advantages. If college buy a set of heavy harrows, we could rent them out and make additional money of them. So purchasing a new heavy harrow will stop the hassle of the renting the equipment, and new equipment will add in better performance because mostly the rented equipment is often in rough shape.
The new bin options. The college currently has 15 bins, and many of them are like a flat bottom bins rather than hopper bins. This comes to much disadvantage when unloading grains or storing grains. We currently try to use as much aerations with the fans to cool grains and dry with the frost fighters. But very few of the flat bottoms have the capacity of running a fan. If they do, it's not very efficient. So in the springtime, we don't have any like a safe fertilizer storage for fertilizer. So this is result in us having to run from the field to the local fertilizer dealer. So this is why we are looking into the upgrading and purchasing much more efficient and reliable bins. Currently, there are three options of bins available that would be a benefit to us on the farm. And the first one is a Meridian GM400. It will cost like a $20,513. And second one is a Meridian 1620 bins. It is available with the horizontal aerations and a fertilizer coat, and it will cost $22,052. And the last one is a Meridian 1620 bins. It's just like a fertilizer coat, no aerations, and it will cost $20,513. And it will help to reduce the risk for a student while uploading grains. And the benefit of that, all three bins have a 400 bushels capacity.
Okay, so our next capital request was a scale. It would have accurate volume and weight data. It would be used to calibrate and track actual yields during harvest. So we'd have exactly what we know for total stocks of grain in the bin, and a streamlined process for trials. This would also benefit the cattle guys on the farm, like the dairy and beef units, as they could weigh their animals as well.
The last capital request this year we had was a grain cart. There was two options that we had this year that we decided on, a 800 and a 500 bushel grain cart. The cost of these would range from around $30,000 to $35,000. There was requirements that we had when we were looking into a grain cart. We wanted a PTO grain cart instead of a hydraulic. And the reason behind this was just because of unloading time, and because hydraulic is a bit slower than PTO. And we'd also want a weigh scale in the grain cart, so we know exactly what's coming off the field, and we would be able to calibrate our combine. The biggest thing about the weigh scale was a good story about this year was because we thought we had a certain amount of bushels of wheat, and we booked it and we actually had another whole Super B sitting in a bin that we didn't know. So we actually didn't know exactly what was in our inventory. So that's one requirement why we'd want a weigh scale. We know exactly what was in the bins at all times. And another reason is the last couple of years, we have a shortage of drivers for grain trucks. And the reason behind this is just because our one truck, you need air brakes or your class 1. And many students that are coming to Lakeland College do not have the requirements to drive these trucks on the road. So the grain truck will allow all students to have the opportunity to be in field and hands-on around the combine and see what's going on throughout the harvest. If you have any questions, there will be a comment box below, and thank you for watching.